It's time now for weather with Nebraska Extension ag climatologist and Market Journal chief meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, this week the western part of the state has seen some pretty mild temperatures, but been a different story for folks in the eastern part. What can you tell us about what's ahead?
Well, Troy, you're exactly right. During this week, the areas of the state that were locked primarily into the lower to mid 30s were those areas where we've seen the more significant snowfall last week in southeast and portions of south central Nebraska. The remainder of the state, as the snow cover dissipated, we've seen temperatures skyrocket. In fact, we had some 50s and 60s in the western part of the state, yet stuck in the 30s in the southeastern part of the state. It looks like we are now going through that change we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. The cold air is coming in earnest. We have another snowmaker that is basically moving through our region right now, and after it gets through, we are going to see several pulses of energy move down in northwest flow to give us reinforcing shots of cold air and some flurry activity. And it doesn't look like any of this is going to break anytime soon. So as we look at the upper air models, here's that big deep trough that brought the snowfall in yesterday afternoon and continues this morning. That is now moving toward our east and will basically result in a storm moving up the eastern seaboard. So here's your surface low that is starting to make its way up the eastern seaboard, but we still have a widespread area at the surface of accumulating snowfall, with the heaviest of it now moving down into Missouri, and this will all move up into the northeastern United States as we go into tomorrow. So by tomorrow, this trough pivots over to the eastern U.S. The surface low will move up the eastern seaboard, giving them some really significant accumulating snowfall. But in its wake, we are going to see Arctic high moving into our region. So we are looking at some flurry activity across the northern plains. But in terms of accumulating snowfall, the next round or shot of potential accumulating snowfall will be with this trough that will develop from the high pressure system moving to the south as we go into the day on Monday. Surface low in the northeastern portion of Texas will bring some moisture up, but it may not be quick enough to get us a significant accumulating snowfall before the next wave of Arctic air moves into our region and merges with this trough to the south, bringing a really substantial area of inclement weather to the eastern United States. But for our region, it's primarily going to be just reinforcing shots of cold air with a little bit of flurry activity, with the main accumulating snowfall moving off to our east. We do see a broadening of this trough during the midweek period. That may relax some of the cold air coming into our region. A couple surface lows depicted over north central portions of South Dakota and the Texas Panhandle. But once again, because of the flow in the upper atmosphere coming from the northwest, just not a lot of moisture feeding in. So once again, flurry activity. Then on Tuesday, we see some energy split off from this trough to the southwest as high pressure comes back into our region, another reinforcing shot of cooler air. That will spread some flurry activity across the northern parts of the United States, but more importantly, we'll pay attention to this trough as it starts to move toward the east. And with this energy coming in the northwest flow, we are going to see a merger of these two areas somewhere just to the east of Nebraska. So that may save us from some real significant accumulating snowfall in our region, although we will see some flurry activity. It looks like the primary beneficiary of this inclement weather will be well to our east. Hopefully, if this backs up, we will see some accumulating snowfall, but hopefully it will remain to our east. So if we look even further, from next Thursday following Tuesday, colder than normal conditions looks to be in the rule, and above normal moisture with that northwest flow. So Troy, it looks like we are stuck in the cold, and it looks like it's going to remain through the remainder of the month.